All right, now to our first conversation. The value of capital importation into Nigeria increased by 26.35% to hit 2.19 billion in the fourth quarter of 2021. And that's according to data from National Bureau of Statistics. More data shows that Lagos State attracted the most investment with 90.66%, about $1.98 billion of total investment flowing to the state. Joining us now is Mr. Samuel Igwe, Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Lagos State. Good to have you on the program. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, so again, Lagos State, attracted the most investment, in 2021. Are you impressed with this figure, and what does it tell us?
Well, certainly I must be impressed with the figure. There's still a long way to go. We don't only want to lead in Nigeria, but we want to begin to lead in the African continent. So yes, we are excited. Lagos is home for some of the brightest and most innovative Nigerians. It's a melting point for ideas and it's a center for thinking and entrepreneurship in Nigeria. We believe it's home to some of the largest corporates in all sectors in Nigeria, and it's a land of dreams and opportunity. It's currently leading in terms of the startup support system for the tech ecosystem, and we have committed to a very long-range planning by committing to a 30-year development plan, which basically creates a pathway for investment. We are extremely intense with infrastructure development on both the hard side and the soft side of things. But what it does is also speaks a lot to the quality of leadership that Lagos has experienced over the years, from Bola Ahmed Tinubu through to the current governor, Babajide Olusola Sonu, who has shown very uncommon drive for performance, execution, discipline, and courage in the face of very daunting global economic challenges. It is gateway to investment into Nigeria, actually, and that is why you see we are not really surprised as to the size of investment that has come into Nigeria compared to other states of the Federation. But like I said, we have our aim on the African continent. Right. As we approach the African Continental Free Trade Zone, the fight is not just between Lagos and other states in Nigeria, but it's the dream to become a leading center in Africa when it comes to that.
Yeah, talking about as a gateway, for investment into Nigeria, what can other states, learn from Lagos to attract more investment?
I think first and foremost, it has to be that the leadership must be right, and there must be a sense of continuity and commitment to the general good of all, right? We must move things from politics to development, and we must be able to pull together as part of a nation to deliver great outcomes for Nigeria. I think other states need to also see that without a vision, actually, the people have nothing to rally around. So we must come out with visions and strategies that are clear enough for our citizens to rally around us in government, and then they push the economic agenda and the social agenda. Lagos State has launched what we call the deal book. So it is transparent that you can see what Lagos is about to do. When you combine that with the 30-year development plan, long-term investors can then predict over a long range of time what the government will be focusing on and what the people will be rallied around. So investment becomes easy. Also, the discipline of ensuring that your finances are within sustainability ratios, and the discipline and the rigor of resilience that you drive. For example, the Fish International Rating Agency upgraded Lagos from AA to AAA. All of these things tend to drive investment. And so that financial discipline, operating resilience is also important. But above all, investment is about the people, really. And we must actively rally our investment communities, rally the private sector, rally the media who speaks to the people, and rally the citizens as large, which is one thing Lagos does from the budgetary process to our strategic planning. We always recognize that we must carry the people along. We must seek to understand what their aspirations are, and we must lead on their behalf rather than ramming things through their throats.
Right. But looking at it on a broader basis, now we see on a year-on-year basis, capital importation into Nigeria fell, in 2021 to about 6.7, billion dollars. That's a decline of about 31%, from 9.68 billion dollars in 2020. What do you think contributed to this?
Okay, when you look at the breakup, really, you will find out that a lot of the drop came out of investments around the money markets, right? The money markets are short-term instruments which portfolio investors want to take quick profits from. So when you see that there is a relative shrinkage between the rates internationally and the rates within Nigeria, because the international environment is responding quicker to changes, right? You then find out that as that rate narrow, investors tend to stay in international tradable currencies like the dollars and the pounds and the euros, especially given that the opportunity takeout is narrowing out. And so you don't want to take additional risks on the foreign exchange side, especially even given the challenges with investment repatriation, which our regulation tends to present. So that is where a lot of it is coming from.
Yeah, because a lot of analysts have, talked about, the problem with forex scarcity and, a myriad of issues, leading to this decline. But, looking at the breakdown, we saw capital importation into tanning, had the highest flow of about $645.59 million. That's about 29% of total capital, imported in the fourth quarter. It seems the sector is getting a lot of attention.
Well, Nigerian hide remains one of the highest quality hides in the world. I do not think that, I think that, yes, it is gaining attention, but what I think is happening is an equity investment that must have gone in that direction. So, yes, you are correct, but what it speaks to also is that every part of this country can be extremely productive. It's my view that our market spaces across the country needs to be strengthened, and therefore Lagos, being the largest market in Nigeria, needs to be viewed as a national asset. We are capable for stimulating production across the country because, again, as a gateway, you will find out that people come into Nigeria through Lagos and want to also do exports out of Lagos at the same time. So we must hold together as a country. We must hold together as states. We must learn from each other, and we must adopt best practices in governance, especially in the areas of transparency, accountability, and performance. The truth is that investment flows better in an environment where transparency, accountability, and performance management is well guarded and well implemented. And I think that's what we're seeing in Lagos. But there's a lot that still needs to happen, both in Lagos and nationally, as we take on the challenges in the continent as it comes.
Right, but what are the plans, to attract more investment, into Lagos? We're looking at 2022.
Well, like you see, Lagos is extremely strong in infrastructure development as we plan for the future. You see all we are doing in the deep sea port, in the expansion of the Lekki-Ekpe Expressway with concrete rigid pavement. All of this is supposed to stimulate additional maritime capacity around Lagos. We also just launched our deal book. The Office of SDG and Investment launched the deal book so that investors can see exactly what Lagos is thinking about from the investment side. But we're also partnering a lot with the private sector. As you notice, we just signed an MOU with FAN to develop infrastructure along the airport corridor, as well as investment opportunities coming out of our waterways, out of our road infrastructure, and improve regulations in all of those areas. You see the investment in rail, and that investment will continue to improve the productivity of our people as their journey times are cut short from about 2 hours, 30 minutes to almost 30 minutes. All of that helps. We already have launched, the governor has launched a committee that basically, a council that drives the ease of doing business in Lagos. And we are following very eagerly and very closely around improving the ease of doing business. It starts from how the people are able to engage the government digitally. And we are launching the Citizens Gate, which is a platform around which the citizens will engage us realistically and practically. And then basically to ease out how easy it is for people to interact with government services and dealing generally in terms of our titling rules and procedures and in terms of our construction permit. We are digitizing that entire process, and we expect once we complete it, it's going to lift very dramatically the ease of doing business in Lagos.
Quite interesting. But, you know, with geopolitical tension, you know, impacting oil prices, we see globally cost of living rising, even, you know, right here in Lagos. You know, what's being done to, you know, alleviate some of these sufferings, you know, of the people and to diversify the economy of Lagos?
So the economy of Lagos is diversified. There's no one sector that drives the economy of Lagos completely through and through. But in addition to that, we must understand that there's a global challenge coming out and prices are going up. It's for one thing, the government will act to make it easier in terms of our social intervention projects. And there's a lot that will be happening this year in that regard. You saw that we just launched also our social protection policy as a government, which is for the people. And the idea is to say no one really needs to be left behind. We don't see anything that devastates the poor more than a health challenge without the capacity to pay for healthcare, which is why the Lera Eco health management and health insurance scheme works. It's heavily subsidized, and we encourage citizens to participate very actively with it in that regard. But a very important point has to also do with the culture of our people. When prices rise, it's also nice that we begin to learn to rationalize our spend in favor of our most strategic and prioritized spend. Our energy cost, we need to learn to manage our water usage, our energy usage, so that our disposable income can capture much more than less. These are not the times where you leave your lights on, irrespective of where in the house you are. These are not the times where you take your car to just to drive to the supermarket, or maybe a journey that you can walk for 5 minutes. We need to begin to encourage ourselves to conserve, right, our resources, to spend on the most and to spend very efficiently. These are times where you need to enter buses instead of insisting that you must take your car out as a lone occupant of the car. We must pull together to save costs as a people and learn new cultures that help us thrive in the face of current challenges.
Pulling together to save costs. Thank you so much, Mrs. Samuel Egube, Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Lagos. It was great having you on the program.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. All right, so after the break, we look at Nigeria's retail industry as it recorded sales boost in 2021. That's in a moment. Do stay with us. This is Business Morning.